Monday Raw. All right, there's the Monday Night Raw going on. Like I said, it's business as usual. WCW's still got their Nitro, WWE's got Raw, all that. But then on Raw, they'll how they flash to backstage segments.
Yes.
There's a WWE guy, maybe a single performer, maybe a tag team, whatever. Point being is it's a WWE guy laid out. Mysteriously, no one knows what happened.
Right.
Make it a big name though.
Bigger name, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like the Big Show or something.
It doesn't necessarily have to be. It didn't have to be someone like Big Show. It could be anybody, just a more
Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
There you go. Yeah, that would be one right there.
There you go.
The New Age Channel is taken out.
She said it's on again.
So there's that happens, and nobody's like, what the hell happened? Nobody knows who did it, and maybe that happens maybe a couple times that night. Later that night. Again, someone else is attacked backstage. What's going on here? Right. So now you do this. This happens for a couple weeks. You go to SmackDown. Same thing. People are getting attacked backstage.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell's going on? Now, this is going to be right before, the couple weeks leading up to a pay-per-view. So you have these attacks happening now.
And nobody knows who
Nobody knows who's doing it. The guys, when they're asking them, they didn't see nothing. I didn't see someone hit me from behind, and so now this happens, a couple, like I said, a couple weeks, 2 Raws, 2 SmackDowns. So now you come to the pay-per-view, and it's got to be a pay-per-view that's got a big, like a big main event, a Stone Cold Rock, something,
right,
something like that. 2 big, guys, top guys. Are in this, main event. Well, Vince McMahon, because all these attacks, he's not taking any chances. He's got security now. He's hired the security, so that you got your typical, it was always the same with the security brought in. They're in the full riot gear with the helmets and shields and everything. You don't see faces, it's just to make them look more ominous. So, Vince McMahon's got these guys. He's got them in exits. Nobody gets in this building, yada, yada. Main event comes out. Now, Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, they come out. They're at the announce booth. They're at the announce table for this main event match. Vince orders security. He's got security out there around like the ring.
Right.
Okay? Now, the match is going on.
It's pretty good.
During the match, they go and just get towards the end of the match. All of a sudden, some music kicks up. It's the "I'm Back." Out comes strolling Eric Bischoff. Comes out on stage up on the ramp. Vince McMahon immediately, what the hell is he doing here? What's going on? And he's like, he grabs a mic, he's screaming, what are you doing here? Get him out of here, get him out of here. So some of the security start working their way up. Well, here comes a few more guys now from the back.
Oh, shit.
And they're WCW guys. Okay, they could be WCW or a combination of WCW, ECW if you want. Or we could just do the ECW later. That part doesn't matter.
Right.
Let's say for the purposes of this, it'll just be WCW guys. And it's some bigger name guys, but not necessarily like top guys, that are going to come out of WCW. You're
maybe like Lance Storm.
Lance Storm, Canyon,
right.
Someone like those
Billy Kidman.
Those like mid
card tier wrestlers.
upper mid card type guys.
None of the big
out.
stars.
Right.
I got you.
Disco Inferno.
So these guys.
Inferno. There you go.
These guys all kind of come out onto the stage behind the Bischoff.
Remember the cat?
So which stops the security. Now they kind of stop. So now Vince McMahon, he's
what
up
the
there.
hell's going on?
He's up there now. He's in the ring. He orders some of the security. You gotta get her in the ring. So he gets like 3-4 of the security guys, gets him into the ring now. The other guys are out there, out there at the ring. Well, he's going on. He's had Shane McMahon's in the ring with him. You know, Bischoff. So now the WCW guys, they start coming down. You know, the security guys that are outside the ring, they go and they start fighting. You know, they start, you know, brawling with the WCW.
Yeah.
The WCW guys, you know, and they're fighting. They're going back and forth. Now the WCW guys are starting to get the upper hand. They're starting to win. They're taking the security guys out. You know, Vince is freaking out. You know, he's telling these guys, you know, yeah, watch, you know, don't let no one in the ring. He's telling these guys that are in the ring. So now there's a guy who's kind of moves to the front. Now he's kind of at the front of the ring. Then there's a guy over here, you know, one over on this side, kind of, you know, in the vicinity of Stone Cold. There's one in the vicinity of The Rock. You know, it's like they're protecting the stars, you know.
Right.
And they're going on, and then, you know, they're standing there waiting, and just all of a sudden, you know, Bischoff is still up on the stage, you know, and
just watching.
You're watching this, you know. The WCW guys start, you know, beating him down. They beat the security down. So now security's beaten. All the WCW guys are out there.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's got these you know, these like
These
3-4 guys
four
that are in
guys.
the ring still. And Vince, you know, and
Wearing the helmets and everything.
yeah, yeah, full on. And Bischoff is like, you know, by the way, Vince, I got one more surprise for you. That's when the one security guy turns, charges, and spears The Rock or Stone Cold, whichever one, it don't matter. Spears one of them.
Right.
Jumps up and does, you know, like Goldberg does after a spear, how he did that jump, you know. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
You know, he pulls the you know, the helmet, the mask off. It is Goldberg. Vince McMahon is, you know, he's excuse me. He's like, what the hell, you know? The other security guy who's over there by the other whoever, whatever it is, Stone Cold or The Rock, boom, he does something. He takes, you know, the other one out to pull off his mask, you know, his helmet to reveal another big, you know, big star. Maybe this one is Booker T.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he takes out The Rock.
Yeah.
You know, because Goldberg just speared Stone Cold. Now Vince McMahon is beside himself, you know. What the hell is going on, you know? And
what about Diamond Dallas Page? Because he was big WCW. Maybe being one of the other ones.
Right, he could be the third one.
Maybe
you know, could
Diamond
be
Cutters.
Or Flair could have been the third one.
Actually, that's better.
Yeah, or Sting could have been the third one.
Yep.
You know, in there. You know, they go over, you know, they pick up, you know, he picks someone up, he does a move, he takes out Sting. But the kick is where Shane turns and attacks Vince. Beats him down. And that could be like, you know, Shane attacks him, you know, hits him, and then the other security guy,
and then he can
takes his stuff, and that's Flair or Sting or whichever one, and they, you know, put a move on Vince, and that's when Shane's like,
I let them in. Yeah.
I bought WCW.
But
you know,
my problem with that whole thing is that there was a similar storyline with DX and the riot gear.
Yes.
So they all were dressed in the riot gear. So I mean, it would have been a decent angle.
Right, but they had the riot gear clad guys out there all the time, so nobody would have batted an eye seeing guys in the riot gear garb security.
Right.
That was like a mainstay in wrestling. You would have the security guys around, you know, the ring.
I would have liked to have seen a I was a huge DX fan. I would have liked to have seen something revolve around DX involving that, because DX, if you remember, went to the WCW event in a tank and tried to get in.
Right. Well, see, that's what in my scenario there would be some DX would get involved into it.
Yep.
But so would the NWO. And that's how that's going to start. Maybe the DX.
Yeah, see, he lit up like a little kid.
DX comes out talking to smack about this invasion, you know, and about
And
what
then all
they're
of a sudden
gonna
you
do.
hear burning down.
No, see the way that I would have done the whole DX thing, NWO thing. I would have been more along the lines of a Click reunion, because we would have had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Razor Ramon, and Scott Hall. That, you know, whenever they left WWF, they had that hug out in the middle of the ring.
Oh, the Madison Square Garden incident.
Right. But see, the only issue with that is
Hug it out.
you're gonna, you know, who's the guys that are charged, you know, the top guys, the guys who started NWO, you know, Hogan, Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, Hogan was never part. You know, he wasn't part of the Clique, so he would be the
Right.
odd man out in that.
Right.
And Nash was part of the Clique, but he wasn't like a leading member of the Clique. So it's like Nash would Nash give up being the leader, you know, being one of the guys in charge of his NWO to be a crony to Shawn Michaels and Triple H, who technically are running DX, because he
Right.
wouldn't be in charge.
Right. Well, the way
He would have to take that back seat role.
I think.
Right.
And I don't think Nash's ego would have taken
well,
likely to that.
what I would have, I mean, it could have revolved more heavily along NWO DX, you know, with Shane ultimately being a dark member of the NWO,
Right.
which could have been, the tie-in
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Right. So I think that, you know, there would have been, you know, a fight between DX and NWO. And, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's a...
To add to that, real quick, remember what I said about my...
Right, I was just going to say.
And I'm going to do that. Can I do that after?
Hold on, one
he
second.
says?
One second.
Okay, sorry.
No, good.
I got excited.
We could use the whole Click thing as part of the storyline. That
With the
could be
angle.
like the angle that DX is trying.
Right.
You know, trying to like reach out to Nash. You know,
Right.
who's in the deal. He's like, man, come on, man. You were one of us, man. You were part of the Clique.
Before
you know?
there was an NWO.
Before there was an NW, before there was a DX, we were, we ran. So they could be trying to, like, use that to get Nash to turn on NWO, back, with DX. So now you have the potential of you.
Sorry. I do it a lot, guys. I really don't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
So now you got the potential. You could go a number of ways with that.
Right.
You could have Nash turn on NWO too, with them. You could do a double turn. You could have Nash appear to turn on NWO with DX, and then he ultimately turns on DX, and go back with NWO. But there was the wild card in this, and I'm going to hand it over to Joey because he's chomping at the bit.
I did, man. I was excited.
His little wild card with that whole NWO DX feud kind of thing.
So naturally, you're going to have a lot of matches with the invasion angle. So why not DX and NWO just be one part of it? So Survivor Series, classic 5-on-5 match. You have the 3 original members, Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and then you have maybe Scott Steiner because he was a pretty involved NWO guy.
Scott Steiner was heavily involved.
And then you can, Kurt Hennig.
Right.
Kurt Hennig, because Kurt Hennig was in the company at the time. In 2002, so he could have been there.
Right. Yeah. It would have to be someone who would, Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray. Yep.
Could have been,
So anybody. But now you have Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and X-Pac. So they're all fighting. And that's the classic 5-on-5 elimination match. And it gets down to Hunter and X-Pac versus Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, and Scott Hall. And
it's elimination style.
It's elimination style, so it's 3-on-2. Triple H is fighting his ass off, and he's getting beaten down, pummeled. X-Pac took his beating, but not nearly as bad. X-Pac's on the apron. Triple H is in the ring.
Yeah, he's all reaching, trying to get the tag.
Yeah. So Triple H tags in finally X-Pac, and X-Pac gets laid out with the power bomb from Kevin Nash. Pins him, eliminated. Now it's 3-on-1. So now Triple H, by some miracle, he ends up taking out Scott Hall. Scott Hall's eliminated. Then it's down to Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, Triple H is finally regaining. He's too, he's like, all right, come on, I want Hogan. Put Hogan's ass in the match. So Kevin Nash tags in Hogan. Hogan's in the ring. Before Triple H can even do anything to Hulk Hogan, the last person that was eliminated for DX, X-Pac, runs back in the ring acting like he's going to help Triple H. He drops to his knees. He lows blows Triple H, and he gives him the X Factor. And then Hulk Hogan goes against the ropes, lands the leg drop. X-Pac defected to the NWO because he was a member of the Clique. He was a member of D-Generation X and the NWO.
He was NWO first.
Yes, he was.
He didn't become X-Pac till
he was
WCW
six-pack at the time.
Yeah.
So that would be my wild card in that.
Yeah.
And NWO beats DX. And then, of course, you can have other storylines. I mean, I personally, as a fan, would love to see DX beat NWO. But it's all who you watched. It's all who you preferred. But
Right.
I think that would have been a cool scenario because you could even play off Triple H, how he always treated X-Pac like the runt, and he was sick of it. And he's like, these were our brothers, the Clique. We need to be in NWO, and you decided not to, so I'm going with them. So that would have been my ending to a Survivor Series style NWO versus DX. It was perfect. It was the 5-on-5. You had all the original male members of DX versus probably the most impactful NWO members.
Yeah.
So that was mine. And I'm done.
All right. So it's 10:30, guys.
Brad's
you
like,
guys wanna
"We're
go ahead
done."
and call it now, or because it's pretty much.
Shall I call
The
it
end.
now or call it later?
So
I mean, we could.
I think we pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Talk to
I
me,
was
Bill.
gonna say that I talked about how we could do the ECW angle later. You and ECW could invade at a pay-per-view
Oh yeah, and then
during
just make it more interesting.
during a match that is WCW versus WWE guys,
And
and
ECW,
ECW guys come from the crowd
kind of like
and take them all out.
yeah.
right.
Kind of,
Hey,
again,
we're
new-
still here.
It's just like, everyone, you guys are so wrapped up with WCW invading, you never saw it. Neither one of you saw us coming,
Right.
and boom, now you got,
The three main
you got the
promotions
three,
during
basically-
the 90s.
well, in essence, you would have had then what they have now.
Right.
Yeah, and
Raw,
that's why we talked about
SmackDown,
the invasion angle.
NXT, they're treating them as three individual entities.
Against each
You
other.
could, and we see how kind of cool that is working right now doing this.
Right.
We could have had that same thing by leaving WCW, leaving ECW.
Yep.
I mean, Vince McMahon, ultimately he would have owned, all of them. So he's getting his money.
And he would have made a lot more money if
The
he would have done
reason,
it better.
the reason why it was done the way it was done is me and you have talked about this.
He rushed it.
Well, it's not just that he rushed it; it's Vince McMahon's ego.
Oh,
Vince
yeah.
McMahon's
Oh,
ego. He wanted to show.
very true.
I crushed them. They
And
are nothing now.
They
nothing.
are minor
Right.
pebbles.
I control all of your destinies now. If I don't care what you were there.
Right.
You're
I
nothing
decide what you'll
here.
be here. Yeah, exactly. And I think he fucked up doing it. Damn it! Here I get man. Like you're one time, and
I have not said the F word once during this show. I
but
just
no,
want to
you
paint
inspire
a
it.
picture.
You inspire it.
Well, I'm sorry I did that for
So,
you.
but yeah, that just think of just chew on that, guys. Let me leave you with that. How they have the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT angles going right now. We could have had that back then with WWE, WCW, and ECW.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been awesome.
So on that
He
note,
was saying instead of having SmackDown, they could have just made it Raw, Thunder, and ECW.
They very well could have.
so
Go ahead, Brad.
on that note, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna say our goodbyes. We're gonna say our
long farewell.
thank you to Straight Outta Philly. Thank you to A&B Graphics for the banner. Thank you to pretty much everybody that's contributed or has liked our show.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you for all your support.
Sheer Attraction,
It
Hair
means a
Salon,
lot.
Merritt Island, Sweet Teas Creations.
Yes.
Right. 10-speed bike shop.
Yep. So we just want to go ahead and tell everybody thank you. See you guys next Thursday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Bill, you want to go ahead and start the sign off?
Absolutely. It's I don't want to say goodbye. It's see you later. And also next week, Harvey Keitel live on the show. Yes. 3,
2,
1.
Screw.
You feel the energy is pulsing, taking over your face. Just like a heart attack, the pressure's rising, you can't contain. So clench your fist, it's obvious, you know I'm pulling you in. This time will you deny the change inside of what you're chasing.